we're gonna look at how do I manage my investments. So with my recent video about investing, a lot of people carry the anxiety of having to pick stocks and make most of their optimal decisions for their investments. While it is concerning to be say, it is important to understand that when you are investing in stocks or any type of investment, it always carries some type of risk. And with that, here is my personal experience, what I've learned throughout investing. So I began investing around I was 18 years old. So the earlier the better, as they say, because you have the chance to make mistakes and understanding what's the game, how the whole entire financial systems work in the United States. And overall, this can be applied in places like EU. So first thing you got to keep in mind is number one, elimination of risk. So when investing, I always keep in mind that risk is always a factor, and there is no way to truly eliminate all of them like running a business. Welcome to real life. It's like running a business. So what I try to keep in mind is to determine what type of risk is involved in every investment I go into. For example, when you buy a stock, you want to research the company, what type of product it makes, and what type of service they provide. Then see what their balance sheet is and understand how they sell their goods and services. So when you buy into a company, you have to understand what do they provide, what that type of consumer gets out of buying their product or service. For example, if you buy into waste management, what do they provide? They provide picking up trash for other people. If you buy into like a dental industry, what do they do? You got to understand, maybe it's not for you, maybe it's not for me, but you got to understand the people who buy into that product service, what would they think when they buy into it? Like just picture yourself in their shoes, which breaks down to number two, is having patience. When investing, it is all about long-term investment. You can call it diamond hands in short form. Like a lot of people say, just hold on to the stock as long as possible. Now, being patient has a lot of benefits, from better tax gains to increase the value of your investment, because the USA targets about 2% inflation per year. Keep that in mind, it's very important. Historically, investments has grown over time, and holding for the long run is usually beneficial than holding for short-term investments. Because if you sell for short-term investments, basically you lose most of the benefits, and mainly what hits you is the taxes. There are cases that short-term investments provide benefits to those include higher risk and more dedication with time, which, let's face it, most people like you and me, we don't have time for that. We got our lives to live, we got jobs to work. This really includes like people who do basically day trading, swing trading, or they sell their investments in less than a year. Most people are not like that, unfortunately. 99% of people, including myself, are not like that. We don't have time for this. Now, we usually play the long form game, and which comes down to number three, ignoring the hype. This is a basic key crucial point a lot of people do, unfortunately, buy into this. Now, when you do long-term investing, be wary the hype of surrounding around social media or FOMO, the fear of missing out. Now, this means there are people who are trying to pump or short a stock in this case. And within this scenario, just look at Bitcoin and Dogecoin, where social media pumped those cryptocurrencies, and you got a lot of people, including myself. I actually bought into this, and it was during the peak too. Now, later on, it crashed because there was no monetary value in that currency. A lot of people said there is value in Bitcoin and Dogecoin. That's a whole entire story and a whole entire can of worms that we go into some other type of video. Now, when managing FOMO, there is also means to check your sources and not rely on media and popular influencers. And hopefully this will give you some type of idea which you can double check your sources. So don't always just listen to me or listen to other people, double check with other sources too. Now, this really goes back to risk management and well understanding while eliminating any potential outside influence. Because if you're playing for the long-term game, you got to understand that when you buy into stocks or investment, you're not selling it within a year, you're selling it down the line, maybe about like 5 years later, a decade later. And when you have to go through this, you have to go down the next step. The next rabbit hole is getting too attached. This one I had troubles with too early on. Now, long-term investment is a huge challenge to your mental game. I have to admit, this applies to everyone, including myself. So when I began my journey investing, I had a habit of checking every single day and every other day. I'm pretty sure everyone had this habit when you first started investing. When you don't have that much money, you're bound to look at it every day, see it went go up or it went down. Now, this creates a lot of anxiety about what happens if you lose money on your investment. If we go to the inflation standard of what the American economy does, there will be ups and downs in the market. For example, look at what happened in 2008, now look at what happened in 2020. Now, what happens in the end of the investments will go up along with all other goods and services in this case. Now, just think about it. How much gas is eating out and in restaurants in the early 2000s and versus, let's say, today in 2024? If you held on and you bought earlier and just held on to it, even went up or down, if you like save until now, 2024, you still wouldn't have made a massive profit. And now going down to the next list is not having a plan. when doing your investments, you always want some sort of plan. If you don't have any sort of plan, you're just basically, at this point, you can call it gambling in this case. This could be very detrimental in your investment portfolio. So by not knowing where your money goes, it could hurt you in the long run. Now, there are some cases where it does pay off successfully, but that is really hardly the case. For example, I had one of my clients who bought into Apple stock when around 2008. And he went diamond hands all into it. All his money came in, went to Apple stock, and he sold it down around 2018. That's like 1 in a million. Now, first of all, you don't want to take that gamble, and second of all, most people won't be able to stomach that. And third of all, he was a doctor in that case. But majority of people, I believe you should be making a plan to help you keep track of how your finances are performing and where to make changes when trouble occurs. Let's say that Apple didn't do so well during that time. He wouldn't have been screwed. He wouldn't have lost most of his money if he wanted to cash out in that case. It's a risk that he fortunately got very lucky with. Going on to the next step, mistakes are inevitable. You are bound to lose money in investments ranging from, let's say you got into a company, you got bonds, you got real estate, or let's say that what happens in emergency occurs in one of those rare instant cases. Inevitably, life occurs and you have to sell some of your investments. This is bound to happen because welcome to living in this case. And when you're living, you are bound to crash into some sort of issue. Now, this is part of the game, is how much you're willing to risk and how much you're willing to earn money down the line when holding on to your investments. So the best way to put it is that you are bound to lose some and win some in investing. Just learn from your mistakes and make the ratio to more wins than losses. And with that, a lot of people may ask how investors usually pick their stocks. So when picking stocks, investing in general, whatever category asset you buy in, you want to turn that ratio into more wins than L's. Because at the end, you are bound to take some L's. And those losses, this will give you a general idea what you should do better next time. Just make small little changes and you'll do way better in your portfolio. Now, in general, when it comes to picking stocks, a lot of people do what is called fundamental analysis, which basically means you gotta look into the company's financial statements and whatever service and products they provide. Now, this sums up by looking to the company's growth over the years and its structure and revenue. For a lot of people, let's use the mainstream, like Tesla. A lot of people say, oh, we should buy Tesla. Oh, we should do this with Tesla. Oh, look at his ARK Investments, where this Cathie Wood buying into Tesla. Look, she's doing it. Maybe I should do it too, because she's making a lot of money. Always do your due diligence before you listen into those, because they don't care if you lose or make money. It's all on your own. So the basic understanding is do your own research, consult with your financial advisor before you make those type of purchases, and understand what's the whole company about and look at their balance sheet. Now, understanding the company's product and service is very important, because when you buy into them, you don't want to buy into something you don't know. Just think of investing like buying into their stock is like buying out a company or a business. Let's say you want to buy a dental company. You have no idea what a dental company does. You have no idea how they operate. You don't know what type of dental work they do. You don't know what clients they have. Then why are you making that purchase? It's like buying a house. If you don't make any type of basic arrangements to take a look, maybe you have plumbing leaks, roof leaks, maybe you have termite damage. You want to do all those things before you make those purchases, so you make a better informed decision. That is the definition of lowering your risk. So in conclusion, you don't want to be very nervous or worry about your investment journey, because the earlier you start, the better. In my case, I started when I was 18. Even if you start later on down the life, let's say you're 40 or 50, you still have a huge amount of time left. Now, within this time, you should start investing. Because you think about right now, you keep saying you keep pushing the next month, you push it to the next year, maybe you start some other time. And then when 2024 passed, you look at 2025, 2026, especially now they're beginning to lower interest rates, everything's gonna shoot up again. You might miss this opportunity. And this is the perfect opportunity for you to make way more money than before. Now, the more time you have, the more time you use that to learn and make mistakes now, then it will be a lot more beneficial to learning from your mistakes. And when you learn from those mistakes, you can make better investments. So overall, the best thing is once you make all that profit, and by selling your stocks, by selling your investments, you might get something like, let's say, a 1099 NEC or a 1099 miscellaneous. Or you might get basically a 1099 for dividends or interest. Or you might get something like capital gains. And looking between capital gains long-term and capital gains short-term, the best thing you can do is watch my videos down below or above, and make sure you click the subscribe button. I'll keep you updated. And comment down below if you don't understand how to fill out these forms. I'll do my best to answer your questions. I'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful day.